Hey people, welcome to Top Cat's Lair. I just wanted to talk a bit about bullies. For the last couple of years, there's been a rise in the conversation about bullies and bullying online. But there seems to be a lot of people missing the point or using the fact that there are bullies in the world as an excuse to censor material that they find unacceptable or inappropriate or against their sensibilities, or, for lack of a better term, triggering. And instead of ignoring or just simply not funding these materials, they don't want anybody else to use them either. And the way that they do this is by claiming that culture dictates behavior, that culture affects people so much that it actually changes their morality, opposed to art imitating life. See, they want culture not to reflect life as they claim it is. They want it to be an escape, but not an escape for some, only an escape for them. Here's my take on bullies. A lot of people have a bit of bully in them. They don't like to admit it. They want to claim that it's due to things they don't like. Just pick the latest vice. Dungeons and Dragons, heavy metal, video games, horror movies. That hasn't been talked about in a while. But they like to blame these things because they don't want to see themselves as responsible for their own actions. The thing is, if they were to admit that they have a bit of a bully in them, and maybe it's not a large part of themselves, but maybe it's a small part, they'd have to acknowledge that they were imperfect. And a lot of people have been raised to not think this way. And it actually hurts them to think that they could be flawed in some way, instead of seeing it as an opportunity to improve. The reason why bullies act on their impulses, it's not because of culture. It's not because of objectionable materials. You can play a video game and do things in a video game that you would never do in real life. The reason why bullies in real life hurt people in whatever way that they do is because they think they can get away with it. That is the reason it happens. So it disturbs me when people want to blame things they don't like as the cause and not look into preventative measures, not look into self-defense, not look into safety precautions for themselves so they can mitigate the risk. They can make the risk less. They don't want to do that. That would be something they would have to do, and they don't see themselves at fault. And they're not. I'm not victim blaming here, but the reason bullies act, they could be a robber. Here's a great analogy. A robber sees a house that's locked and a house that's unlocked with windows open. Which one is he gonna rob? What if they were both locked? What if they both had security systems? Would the robber then think it ain't worth it? If they saw that someone got suitably punished for attempting to do something, the risk reward would dictate they would not try, or less people would try. The stupid ones would still try. And I say stupid, not like foolhardy stupid, but people who haven't learnt to express themselves any other way. They haven't learnt how to hold a debate, how to hold a conversation. And some of this comes down to education, some of it comes down to mental illness and lack of social skills. Some of it comes down to a lack of understanding between people. And people going, well, it's not my job. It's not my job to understand bullies. It's not my job to look further into someone who was treating me badly. But if you don't understand the cause, the true cause of why people are shitty to each other, then it's just going to keep going. And that's outrage culture. That is the culture that we live in that's been steadily increasing for the last 3 or 4 years. It's been getting bigger and bigger because those bullies have gotten away with it. And finally, people are pushing back. People are going, enough is enough. This far, no further. And hopefully that trend continues. That people are waking up and not putting up with being bullied anymore. I saw a video today about a lady picking on some guy because he had dreadlocks, called it cultural appropriation, and then proceeded to bait him, to try to cause him to act in a violent manner which she thought would be a good story, maybe. I don't know what she was thinking. But she wanted him to act as she is stereotypically made him out to be in her own mind. And the great thing is, he didn't. He asserted himself intelligently, and he debated her on the issue. And when she tried to grab him and block him, and he said no, and had to try to get past her, she claimed that, oh, you were touching me. And then she got really upset when she found out that she was being filmed. Like I said, bullies act because they think they can get away with it. Wake up. Don't let them.